always been a boots and blue jeans kind of guy. So when my daughter Sarah told me she was dating a lifestyle influencer named Julian, I figured it was a total wash. Sarah is a surgeon, she's sharp, she's driven. And Julian? Julian wore linen shirts, talked about mindfulness, and honestly, looked like he'd never seen a day of hard work in his entire life. When they came over for the weekend, I did my best to be polite, but it was a lot of grunting and short answers. If he asked about my woodworking, I'd give him a one-word fine and go back to my newspaper. He never seemed to mind, though. He just kept smiling that perfect camera-ready smile. The moment happened on Saturday afternoon. My wife and Sarah went into town for some shopping, leaving me and Julian in the backyard to handle the grill. It was one of those old-school charcoal setups that's been finicky since the late 90s. Of course, the second they left, the wind picked up, and I could not get those coals to stay lit. I was swearing under my breath, feeling my blood pressure spike, while Julian just stood there watching. Finally, he clears his throat and says, "Sir, if you let the air intake breathe from the bottom, it might catch faster." I looked at him, ready to tell him to go back to his crystals. But then he walked over, took the tongs, and started moving those coals with the precision of a professional. He didn't look like an influencer anymore. He looked focused. "I worked the line at a high-end steakhouse for 4 years to pay for my master's degree," he said, without looking up. The chef was a maniac. If the sear wasn't perfect, he'd throw the whole pan at you. I just stood there, blinking. Julian spent the next 2 hours telling me stories about grease fires, 13-hour shifts, and the absolute chaos of a professional kitchen. Turns out that easygoing attitude wasn't because he was lazy. It was because after surviving a Saturday night rush in a New York kitchen, nothing else really feels like a crisis. By the time the girls got back, we were 2 beers deep, laughing about a particular incident involving a melted dessert tray and a very angry French pastry chef.